Alright, hi guys, and welcome back. So, I am going to be using this paper to make a card. This is from the Floral Charm. It's an online exclusive. And I'm going to use this to showcase both sides of your designer series paper on a card. Alright, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip of this. All right, let me put this on my desk. It'll probably get lost among everything else that's on my desk. And let's bring this over here. Now what we're going to do is, I have this die. It's from, oh my gosh, I think it's called Note Cards. I don't know what it's called. Alright, I can't find it. But anyway, have this die. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and cut out this frame. Now I'm going to show you using it the regular way, and then I'm going to show you using a trick that will help with all these little dots. Alright, so let's go ahead. I am just going to put a little bit of tape on there just so it doesn't move, because it's a pretty big die area for the mini cutter. Remember, your plates sometimes get a little finicky with the mini cutter. Alright, so this is just going straight on the die. Straight on the designer series paper. Pulling it off at an angle. So we have that part and we have this part, right? You can drop this on your glass mat or whatever. Or you can take this and roll your brush to get those circles out. But I bet you not all the circles are going to come out. Alright, so now let's take the pokey end to that registration hold that pulls it out. Alright, and now let's look. Let me put that lid back on real quick. Alright, so let's look. It looks like most of the holes came out. Sometimes you'll have one or two left, especially with like intricate dies. I'm surprised they all came out. Like I said, usually there's one or two is left. But another way, if you're finding that you're getting a lot of holes left in there, another thing you can do is just take plain old copier paper, have that touching your die. Now, this is an extra layer, so it might be a little tighter to go through your machine. But if you have that copier paper first, there it is. I'm like, where is it? And run it through. Or was I supposed to do it the other way? No, I'm sure it's this way. Again, here, I'm not even going to run my brush through. Let me find one of those registration holes. There's one right there. And I'm going to pull both of those out. And your copier paper is thin enough that it's not going to rip. But then, look there. Again, if you're going to have any pieces left, it's going to keep the copier paper in there because that's the closest to inside these grooves. Does that make sense? Alright, so it looks like all of my holes came out okay. Now when I made my sample card earlier, it wasn't that way. But that's just a little trick. You also can use a used dryer sheet, because that will also kind of help with the release of those. Okay, I'm going to put this, you know what? I don't have my little thing out, but look what I found. Yep, found it. All right, so let's go ahead and make our card. So I am looking at these colors on here, and I think I'm going to use bubble bath. I haven't used bubble bath in a while. Let me move this out of the way. I could use Pretty in Pink too. Oh, that might be pretty. Nope, I'm gonna stick with bubble bath. All right. So let me go over here. Oh, you know what, let me put this away. This goes in here. Let me just put it in there for right now. So it's one less thing on my area. All right, so I'm just putting it over here. I'm just going to do 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score at 4 1/4. You guys have all done that probably a million times. All right, let's go ahead, fold that. The bump side in. All right, so here's my card. Oh, I'm missing something on my glass mat. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to place these down. Now, I want to kind of keep them somewhat even. Oh, look, there was a little hole that didn't come out on the first one. Look at that, there's one right there in the corner. Where did I put my pokey tool? Right in the corner, I didn't even notice it. Now I need to see. Nope, that one came out. Right there. Oh no, wait. Did it not work at all? Alright, never mind. Use a dryer sheet, it works too. Alright, anyway, so on this, usually I would have used like adhesive sheets, or I would use my silicone brush, but I have little holes in there. So if I use that silicone brush, it is going to go ahead and come through the holes. So what is nice about this is you can see the dots. There's no dots right in the middle here. Oops, I did one with a little hole. Then I'm going to put just a little bit on the corner there. And I'm going to place it down. Hopefully that's straight. All right, hold it down for a second, make sure those corners stay down. All right, let's do the same with this. Now, if you want to use your silicone mat and your silicone brush, you can. I just find that this goes very easy this way because, like I said, the way those dots are, it's easy to avoid them. And then just putting a little bit on those corners so they will stick down. Hopefully those are straight. Fold down those corners for just a little bit. Make sure those stay down. Okay, so then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop up those inside pieces. Oops, just dropped everything. So take those, I'm going to pop those up with my foam dots. I'm sorry, my dimensionals. Why did I call them foam dots? That's weird. Oops, that one wants to stick to my finger. Let's get on this one too. I did it on the wrong side. Oh no. All right. Luckily I haven't pressed them down that hard. Let me put them, because you know this is about showing both sides of the designer series paper, right? Hopefully these aren't too bad yet. I hadn't really pressed them down, so hopefully they won't rip the designer series paper. What a move, Roxy. Way to go. All right, there's no little residue left, and I'm just gonna pop that up in the middle. All right, probably should put one in the middle too. Feels like it's caving in. Go ahead and just kind of put one under there. That way that middle part stays up too. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna press those down. All right, so there's that. And now what I also need to do, let me go ahead, grab this from the floor. What I'm going to do now is I am going to take a strip of this. Oh, you know what? Let's use this because we still have this. It's almost long enough. I was hoping it'd be completely the 4 inches. But you know what? I think that'll be okay. All right, so that's way too short. And that's too skinny. Oh, you know what? That might work though. Let me go ahead and take that. I'm just lining it up to get that straight edge. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so now I just need my snips. Make sure that I'm straight against that. So the majority of my snips are against that straight line. Cut down. Again, the majority of my snips are against that straight line. Cut down. There we go. Still got a little bit, I got a little bit in the curvy part of where that was. All right. Because what I want to do, just need to do a little bit there too. Take that white piece. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down on here. And leave just a little bit of an end. Yep, and I got glue on there. Once it dries, I'll take my little adhesive eraser to it. Let me trim that down. All right, so now we have our little bridge there across the two. And I'm going to do some ephemera across the top. Let's see, I think I'm going to do this as a birthday card. That's too dark. Yeah, I'm going to do, oh, maybe that celebrate will be cool. Let's see that, because there is some green in there. It does kind of match up. Oh, I do like that. So now what you have to do here is, since this is on here, you need to put a glue dot in the middle there to help bridge that. All right, so let's figure out where we're going to put this. Putting it right there. Glue dot needs to go right there. Having a hang over the edge on both sides just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and put this right on top of it. I'm going to make sure we center that just a little bit too. There you are. There's a way to use that DSP, which is double-sided, to make a card using both sides of that paper. All right, let me show you. This was the original one I tried. That I just did as a panel card since it was an example. Now this was using that Floral Charm. These here, and then I did this where I did it with two different interlocking nesting rectangles. This is using the floral blooms. So here's where I did like a book card, but here is your DSP. See, that's the both sides of the DSP. Then I ran this through the embossing folder and just took a figure dauber and kind of, because it was very light, you could barely see it, so then I think I made it a little bit too dark. But these are the three using florals in bloom. And then the last one we did was floral impressions. On this one, so this is your piece of DSP. I put this piece on the end here. I glued that there, but since I popped it up, there's a little bit of an area there, so this can slide right under and latch. All right, guys. Ooh, let me get that up a little bit so you can see all those. All right, guys. So there's using your DSP, those three floral DSPs we talked about, to their best advantage, using both sides of that DSP paper. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, share on your social media or with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.